Cool.
Perfect.
Well, hello guys. It is Wednesday, and today we have a little bit of a different live here because I'm chatting with Sean Lara. It's Lara, right? Or Lara?
Laura, yeah.
So, in case you're not familiar with him, he is based in Colorado. Was it Fort Collins, right?
Yep, you got it.
All right. Which is, what is it? Northeast of Denver, right?
It's actually just directly north of Denver. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. He is a Magmon ambassador. Maybe that's how some of you have come across his work. As you can see, he's got some stuff behind him. And obviously, you can see why the two of us are friends because we do some similar stuff, except he has way more epic scenery, and I'm kind of jealous about it. So, today we want to chat a little bit about some business strategies and specifically budget friendly ones. Because we know it is 2020 was a little bit of a rough year on many of our
hmm
budgets. 2021's questionable. We don't want to get our hopes up too much here. But I know that we're all looking to get the most bang for our buck in 2021. And so, Sean volunteered to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about it. So, we're just going to kind of have a little casual conversation about some different methods that have worked for him. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And basically, if it pertains right to what we're talking about, we'll take it on the spot if we see it. If it's anything else, we'll come back to that at the end of it. So, no matter what, any questions you have, put them down in the chat. Let us know whatever you have to say, whatever you're thinking, whatever's working for you. We would love to hear that.
Yes, please ask
So,
questions, please.
yeah, it really helps, and it helps you guys get more out of this. I always tell people it's free education, and you're getting to connect with people who normally, like, Sean and I, we both do coaching, mentoring, workshop type stuff, and like you got to pay to get information like this from us. So we're giving it away for free right here. So talk to us, engage with us, ask away. We'd love to help you guys out. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean. I'm going to make sure I get everybody into the group here because I know I just got like 5 more requests right now. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean. Sean, give us a little background about yourself and kick us off here.
Yeah, real quick. My name is Sean Lara. My wife and I run Lara Photography out of Fort Collins, Colorado. And 90% of our business is weddings and engagements, but we obviously do family portraits and anything relating to taking photos of people. Yes, I'm Magmod ambassador as well. That's how a lot of you probably know me. So a lot of our style does rely heavily on the use of off-camera flash and really just getting creative with our lighting. So that's I tell people, just like I tell my clients, I really let my photos do the talking. So if you want to learn more about my style and how we approach a wedding and how what our images look like, just go to our website or our Instagram. You can see a lot of our work there. Um, and really what I want to talk about today, yeah, is some budget friendly marketing strategies, how you can essentially book more weddings without investing a ton of money. And, Scott, you were asking me earlier, why this? Why do you want to specifically talk about low budget marketing strategies? And the answer is really quite simple. Um, I love to make money, but I don't like to spend money. So that's exactly why I decided to talk about this in particular. And a lot of these strategies that I've been using specifically because when I first started out, when I first moved to Colorado back in 2013, I moved here with like only like it was like $5,000 I think in my bank account. I had like no savings. I knew I wanted to be a wedding photographer, so I had to find ways to book clients with essentially no personal loans given to me or no additional really not that much more income. So I was forced to really just learn these low budget marketing strategies. Flashback or fast forward to today, I make a 6-figure income. I have been doing it for a few years now, just solely on wedding photography. And yeah, and it's been great, to have a nice house. I'm able to buy the things I want. And I truly believe that, if photographers implement these strategies that we're going to talk about, that anyone can really, obtain a similar level of success as well.
That's awesome. So you're
Yeah.
telling me that we don't have to break the bank in order to see some success because you're a testament to that.
Absolutely. My total marketing budget every year is actually quite minimal. And there's really just 5 techniques that I use to help achieve that.
That's pretty
So
impressive. So why don't we kick it off with the first one
yeah,
then?
definitely. We'll dive right into it. So the first low budget marketing strategy that we implement into our business is utilizing SEO. So we've all heard of it. I don't think a lot of people fully grasp what exactly it is. So to be very brief, it's essentially how Google and other search engines organically rank your website for specific keywords. So in contrast to running like ads or Google AdWords or Facebook ads, you're essentially, with ads, you're paying for immediate results, right? Whereas opposed to SEO, it's something that takes time to build. So, you can't decide one day, hey, I'm going to start working on my SEO and then expect to get results, the following day or the following week or even the following months. This is something that I've been working on for years, and it's something I'm consistently trying to work on so I can, maintain high rankings. So for example, for me, one keyword that I tried to rank for very early on is Fort Collins wedding photographer. And if you were to Google that right now, you will see that I am on the first page of Google twice. I am last I checked, I am the #1 ranking for the Google Places listing. And I think I'm number 4 or 5. I kind of hover for that specific keyword below the Google Places listing. So a lot of questions I get is, okay, so how do I rank? How do I rank high for a specific keyword? Really, what you want to do first is put some time into keyword research. See what keywords are trending, which ones are converting well, what keywords people are searching for, and then from there, kind of see where you're ranking for those and how you can rank better. And there are a lot of tools that you can use to do this. I won't go into the specifics now. That's something we'll be talking about in my workshop in April, which I'll give more details on later. But it is important to do some keyword research. And one thing I always try to recommend to people is when you're working on your website, it's very important that first that your website loads quickly. Google does rank you based off of how quickly your website loads. So if your website loads slowly, it's going to affect your ranking. Google's essentially, their goal is to provide the best content they can to the people that are utilizing their services. So they only want to refer and rank websites that not only adhering to their policies, but is going to provide valuable content to those people searching for specific keywords. So you also want to make sure that it's easy to read, it's grammatically correct, and of course, like I mentioned, it provides valuable content to the readers. So
absolutely.
that's really important for SEO.
Yeah, SEO is one of those things that it's free in terms of money, but it's going to cost you a lot in terms of time. So it's one of those things where, hey, it's free, anyone can do it, but you're going to have to invest some time, and it's also not a quick fix. It is a long play type of game, but the results are absolutely massive, because being on the first page of Google, when people search for a photographer, when you are on that first page, you're going to get a lot of leads and hits to your website, which is what we are all after here. And it is really important to make sure you are focusing on one keyword to rank for. That's something I will say I see a lot of people make the mistake of. There's something called keyword cannibalization. If you've never heard of it, it's a mouthful, I know. But basically it means is that if you're trying to rank for multiple terms, you know, like if I was trying to rank for York, PA wedding photographer and also Lancaster, PA wedding photographer, and things like that, it's going to be really tough to rank for both. I really need to pick one. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind is you should really probably make it where you're based or the largest town that is near you. That is kind of a
Right.
popular thing. And you can do that in Google. You can search and see volume. There's all kinds of tools out there for that. And as far as ranking goes and kind of tracking it, there is a free app, or maybe it's not free, but it's pretty cheap. It's called SEO Edge.
That's what I use. Yep.
Yep. So it's like, what is it, like $3 or something? Or
I
maybe it's
think
up more.
I think it's like, I think they charge $6.99 for 3-month subscription. I think that's what it costs. So
Okay.
it's super cheap. Yeah.
It is. And
Um,
basically it'll track your website for all of the keywords you're trying to get on there for. And
yeah.
it's really helpful. It's a great kind of starting point to just kind of show you, hey, here's how you're stacking up. It's not the most accurate tool, but it's at least something to get you started so you can start being more mindful of where you're ranking. I know when I first
Right.
started on there, it was like, oh, you're not ranking, you're not ranking, you're not ranking. You're ranked on the 9th page. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. And now I'm like,
Yep.
oh, okay, top 10, top 10, top 10. Like, that's awesome. So it's just a great little helpful tool if you're just starting out in the SEO journey, because it's a heck of a journey.
It really is. And another thing to add too is, SEO over ads, for example, holds a lot more credibility with potential clients that are searching for your services because, someone who's going to see your business name pop up organically as opposed to an ad that says clearly next to it in big letters, advertisement, is, it's gonna hold more weight with those people for sure. Like I know when I do Google searches for any sort of services, I very rarely click on the ads just because I know, okay, they're paying for that. They're paying to be there. They could be a brand new company for all we know, and they're just paying to get listed at the top of the page.
Yeah, and there's also, of course, ad blockers and all that stuff out there
Right.
where there's a good chance they're not even seeing you because in their mind, technically due to all their software, you don't exist even on there.
Yeah. So
So, all right. So SEO, that's a great first start.
yes.
There's all kinds of great content out there on it. We will certainly not claim to be the experts, but it's definitely an area that will pay its dues and reward you in time if you put in the effort.
Right. Absolutely. So the second one that I want to talk about is networking, and to be actually very specific, networking with local photographers, with your competition, actually.
All right. This one I
Um,
want to hear.
and I actually have a very good story, and this was something proven to me the first year I moved to Colorado. So I know this seems kind of weird because you're like, wait, why would I want to network with my competition? Because they're just that, they're my competition. Like, how is it going to benefit me? So I want to start this with a story. When I moved to Colorado back in 2013, I knew absolutely no one here. I had no prospects. I had really no plan with what I was going to do. All I knew at that point is I had the skill set. So I wanted to reach out to some photographers to see if I could potentially second shoot for them, or even better, if I could be an associate for them. So I went in Google, just kind of typed in photographers Fort Collins, looked for the people who were on the top of the pages who looked like they were getting a lot of work, and I hit up a couple. And one of them I actually ended up building a really good relationship with. And I said, hey, I'm new to the area. I was wondering, if I could shoot for you sometime, or if I could be an associate for days you're already booked on. And long story short, we developed a pretty decent friendship. And the very first year that I moved to Colorado, based off of that networking and that relationship I built with him, he referred 8 weddings to me.
Ooh, okay. So
Yeah.
8 weddings off of just making friends with another photographer.
Yep. So there were 8 dates that he was already booked for that he just referred to me. Scott, I think I might have lost you there. Oh, you're there. You're back. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, that was awesome, and another very low budget marketing strategy.
Well, for
um,
sure. So how
yeah.
did you, if you don't mind me asking, like how did you go about like building that relationship with him to the point where they were willing to refer all these weddings to you?
Well, I mean, honestly, what a lot of it comes down to is just being a likable person. I mean, I'm pretty friendly. If I can, I'm always willing to try to give people advice and just be a friend. We had a lot in common. We were both into cars and stuff like that. And it also really helped too because at the time, not a lot of people were really using like off-camera flash, at least here in Colorado. So, and he was one of the photographers I contacted that did use off-camera flash, and we were able to vibe very well on that. I remember one of the things he was told me is like, "Wow, I think you're the first photographer that's ever reached out to me," because he told me I've had plenty of other photographers reach out to me, but you're the first one that actually uses off-camera flash and knows what they're doing. And this is way before the days of MagMod, or I wouldn't say way before the days of MagMod, but definitely before the days I was using them. And so it's just something kind of unique for him to see. And nowadays, I still do this. I still network with local photographers. Another one I network with a lot that is Jared Gant.
Yeah.
We both have a very similar style, and we do refer weddings to each other. If he's booked, he'll refer a wedding to me. If I'm booked, I'll refer a wedding to him. So I highly recommend that you try to network with other photographers in your area, especially the ones that you share a similar style with. And it costs nothing but maybe a beer, at a local brewery or restaurant, pre-COVID days.
Yeah, it's definitely important to do. Obviously, they can be great second photographers, assistants, all of that in the future as well. But for example, there's a guy locally with me, and we have met in person one time. And we talk kind of infrequently just because like he's got a huge family and super involved in that. And he's shooting like 40 plus weddings a year. So he doesn't have a
Wow.
lot of
Okay.
time. But basically we do the same style. We kind of treat things similarly. We're at the very similar price point. And he sent a lead to me the one time. That wedding ended up spending over 12,000 with me.
Wow.
Like
That's
one
awesome.
wedding, 12K. And I was just like, dude, like I can't thank you enough for that. Like that was absolutely fantastic. They were exactly my type of client. Like clearly we have similar clients. So this is really
Yep.
great. And so when I had a lead come in next, of course, who do you think I sent it to? I sent it back his way, and he
Right.
reported back and he's like, yeah, they signed on and they ended up spending like 10K overall. And I said, awesome, like glad I could help you out. So whenever we get like these really high quality leads, we're sending them back and forth to each other if we're not available. And so there's no like, I don't post it publicly. I don't ask anyone else. He is my direct go-to person, and no one else even knows that that lead ever happened because it's a one-on-one conversation with him.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because now that I think of it, my highest paying local client that I've ever had was from a photographer referral. So it is interesting how that works out.
Yeah, for
So
sure. I would say the one caution with when you go to network with other photographers is to be very careful and not to seem desperate or to
right.
like bug them too frequently. Because I've seen that too. Like I've had some people like frequently ask like, oh, like, do you have any like people you could send my way or just keep me in mind or things like that. And it's just like,
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do
yeah,
that.
if all you're doing is asking to either pick my brain or to constantly like just kind of check in and be like, hey, how's it going with this? It kind of comes off like I get what you're going for. And if I really like you, I will send you leads. Like it's going to happen at some point. There's only
Yeah.
so many dates we can all work. So definitely be friendly, but like actually build a relationship with that person, and it'll pay off in the long run for sure.
Yeah, and that's something I'll actually talk a little bit more about in my fourth point is
All right.
is relationships. So we'll get into that in a second. But
Perfect.
yeah, so too long didn't read version, network with other local photographers.
Love it. Love it. All right. Next.
Yeah. So my next point, number 3, are client relationships. So basically your goal is to get your existing clients to sell for you. So after you've booked a client and they've agreed for you to shoot their wedding, your goal is to create an amazing experience for them. You want to create an experience that is easy for them to process. So meaning, payments, make them paying you super easy. We use like QuickBooks. So all our invoicing is online. We don't have to say, oh, okay, well, could you please like send a check and then put it in an envelope and mail it, and then yada yada yada. That's just annoying, especially nowadays where everything's electronic. Same with contracts. All our contracts are electronic. When I first started, I had my contracts physical, and I had my clients mail them to me, and it was a pain in the butt for them. So I recognized very quickly, okay, like this is a problem. One thing I really work on too are automations. This is something I know you're very good at as well, Scott, but as I'll set up automations through my CRM, I use Dubsado. I'll send emails that'll automatically send. For example, I'll give them a wedding checklist. I'll give them some advice on if they're doing an engagement session, what they should wear. I'll send them wedding questionnaires. I'll even send one email that just says, hey, we're checking in. How are things going? You want to make the process very easy for them, and you want to let them know that you're always available to them. And this is something that if you go through my reviews on Google, you'll see I get this compliment a lot from my clients, is how easy we, Lisa and I have been to work with. And that's something we take pride in. And because of this, our clients are telling their friends about us. And the best way you can get a lead or get a referral is through existing clients. The strongest type of referral is from someone that you trust and someone that's your friend. So if you can get a referral from a previous client, there's a very high chance, more so than any other way you can receive a lead, that they will book with you.
Yeah. So happy clients talk. Bad clients talk too, but hopefully the happy certainly outweigh the negative. In fact, I just had a conversation today with the sister of a bride that I photographed her wedding. It was 3.5 years ago. So like way back. And it was a great day. I remember this sister and all that. And she reached out and she's just like, literally, as soon as I got engaged, she said, I knew I was going to contact you because you treated our family like gold. And we loved how the photos turned out. Like it was just such a good experience. And they were just like, she said, I can't even imagine how good your experience is now because you've had so long. She's like, your website looks amazing. Like all those little things are really important. So if you treat people well and you take care of them and show that you're thinking of them, it's amazing what they'll do and how word spreads.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, be nice to your clients and they'll be nice to you back, essentially.
So you're saying don't bully your clients. It's not advised.
No, don't bully your clients. Be nice to them. Make the process easy. It's gonna help you in the long run for sure.
Devin said, will you talk about automations in detail in April? I'm assuming you probably will.
I will be actually. Yeah. So at the end of this, I'll be given a little pitch for my workshop or our workshop that we're going to be putting on. But yeah, that's something we will talk about a little bit. We're having a business day, a day specific for business. And that's something we will talk about. Absolutely.
Nice. And I'll just say one little caution with automations. They are fantastic. I use them. I highly recommend them. But you also need to make sure that there is a human touch at other times as well. Like you can't just automate your entire business. I know some people think that like that's all I do, like everything's on automate, and that could not be further from the truth. A lot of it is automated, but there is a lot of personal touch points.
Yep.
Usually every week I have multiple like happy hour Zoom call meetings with my couples, checking in, talking timeline, talking engagement sessions. Like there's a high touch point, especially when you start charging at the luxury level. Clients want to feel like they're being
Right.
taken care of. And if you do take care of them, they will spend. But you need to be high touch on a very personal level as well.
Yes, absolutely. So cool. So
Next one.
number 4, yeah, let's jump into it. Venue relationships. Um, I probably book a very big majority of my weddings from venue referrals.
Same.
So yeah, and this is a really important one. And it's a ton of work. I'm gonna throw this out there right now. Building relationships with venues is a lot of work. It's not as simple as saying, hey, like here are some photos from a wedding I shot with you. Okay, can I be on your vendor list now?
Oh, please, people, do not do that. That is the worst thing you can do. That immediately puts you on the ban list, actually, at the venue for getting on their
Yes.
list.
Yeah. But with that said, your goal is to actually get on the venue list or the vendor list at venues. But there's a very specific way to do it without being pushy. And the first and most important way is kind of briefly what you mentioned a couple points ago, is building genuine relationships with people. This is so important. You want to, if you can build genuine relationships with the people at venues, they will like you. They'll grow to like you, and they will refer you. So let me give a couple of examples of how I build genuine relationships with venues. So if it's a venue that I've already shot at before, and I have some photos, I will send them a couple galleries and say, hey, here are some photos from, so-and-so's wedding. Feel free to use them for your promotional and marketing materials, no strings attached. Here you go. Okay. That already gets your kind of foot in the door. You're not asking to be on their vendor list. You're not asking, for anything in return. You're saying, hey, here are some photos, use them at your discretion. So that gets their foot in the door. From there, if they get back to me and they say, oh yeah, we love these, thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. I'll then go and say, hey, can I make a wedding album for you? It's just a flush mount album you can have at your venue. That way, when people come and tour your place, you have something to show them. And it also, highlights some of the features of your venue. When I do put these albums together, I am very particular on what photos I'm putting in there. One thing I've learned is I specifically am putting photos in there that highlight the venue. So it's not all like shots of just the bride and groom, that, I would put in my office, for example. I'm putting photos in there that will help the venue sell their venue to potential clients. Because one thing you have to realize is they're having to sell too. They're having to sell their venue. So if they can have an album there that shows off, some of their table arrangements or shows off their ceremony sites, that's going to help them, or it's going to help them sell their venue, and it's going to give them more incentive to show a potential client your album as opposed to competition B's album. So that's important. Another thing I'll do is I'll set up styled shoots. I will, especially if it's a venue I've never been to, I will say, hey, I'd love to go and set up a styled shoot with you guys. Absolutely no cost to you. I'll find some models. I'll find, dresses, suits, et cetera. All we want to do is take some photos at the venue so we can get you guys some promotional content to, to help sell the venue to potential clients.
So you're basically making it all about the venue and not about like, hey, look at all of my amazing photos. It's instead like, look at your amazing venue.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something you want to try to make it all about them. Like when you start to do these things, you're going to find out very quickly that they are going to be eager to put you on your vendor list. It's something that I almost never ask for. The only time I ask for it is if they say, hey, like, can we have some of your unwatermarked images? Then I'll usually say like, that's fine. However, I do ask that we are on your vendor list if you decide you want the full resolution unwatermarked images. Then I'll usually say like, okay, I need to be on your vendor list, but I never bring that up unless it's something that, they ask for. And even then, sometimes I'll just give it to them because I do want to build that relationship with them.
All right, we got a few people talking here in the comments
Yeah.
about this already. So
Okay.
Melissa said, we recently went and made gift bags for vendors. What are your thoughts
I
on
was gonna,
that?
I was actually I was going to talk about that.
Oh,
So and I have an example right here. Every Christmas, I will build gift baskets by hand for my venues that have referred weddings to me that year. So I have like one right here, for example, that I haven't delivered yet, just because I haven't seen them. And yeah, I do something a little bit different every year. And this is something that I give to the venues, and they're super stoked about it. They're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting a gift. Like, thank you. So that's one way that you can build a genuine relationship with a venue.
I
For
would
sure.
say from my own experience, just make sure whenever you do give gifts that you make them personal as much as possible. Because I've seen other photographers go and give the same gift bag to a bunch of different venues, but then they all talk to each other and realize they all got the same thing. And then you better
Yeah.
believe that photographer was not looked very happily upon after that. So I try to always make sure I customize it. So for me, for example, this one venue, it's very high end. I get a ton of referrals from them. I book a ton because they talk me up. And I bought the owners a $250 gift card. Okay. I know everybody's like, that's a lot of money. It's really not when you consider that last year alone, I booked $40,000 worth of weddings from them.
Right.
And they are big restaurant people. They're big local business supporters. So that was my connection of, hey, I know you'd love to support local small businesses. I know that this is their favorite restaurant where they celebrate their anniversary every year. And so I said like, hey, I want you to go out, celebrate. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Here you go. This is all on
Yeah.
the house.
Definitely. And that's actually really good advice because I'll be straight up with you. I have not personalized my gift baskets. So that's a great idea. However, one thing I do make sure I do, because I have thought about that, is I do include a custom card with each gift basket. So it's not just here's a gift basket, like enjoy it. I do attach a personal card to it that says, hey, so and so, thank you so much for all the weddings we did this year. I've really valued our friendship. I hope we can see each other some more in 2021, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not like I just have a stack of gift baskets and just hand them out randomly. I do personalize the cards for sure, which
Gotcha.
is very important. That's a good point.
Are you seeing
Yeah,
the questions there?
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
I saw Melissa asked, do we do styled shoots with other photographers, or do we be
No.
greedy and do just you? Yes. No. It
All
is
you.
all. It's all about you. It is all about you. Do not. Yeah. No other photographers. I mean, that's a big one because, like I said, we're not trying to make it about us, but in the end, it really is. Like,
Yeah.
our goal is for us to build a relationship with that venue, not us and 3 other photographers.
Yeah, I saw, I think Hector's comment got pushed down, but he
Okay.
asked basically about putting multiple weddings into an album, or would you make it just
Yeah.
one wedding? What would you
I've
recommend?
actually done both.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a venue that I've only shot at like once or twice, then I'll usually just do like a single wedding. But like there's some venues, for example, there's one venue that I shot at so much that I actually made an album for each season. Yeah.
That is outrageous.
That's how much I shot that venue. So I made him an album for spring, for summer, for fall, and for winter weddings. So like if they had, for example, if they had a client that was getting married in December, they could be like, oh, well, here's the winter album. Like, here's what it'll look like.
That's a whole nother level right there.
Yeah, definitely. So
Praveen said, do you pay a referral fee to the venue? So like I said, I will never pay like a monetary fee. There are some venues locally I know where like I shot at, they love my work, I'm friends with them, but they said like, you have to pay to advertise with this. and it's like $3,000 a year in order to get on their list. And I personally, I refuse to do that, but obviously other people are willing to pay. I choose to just build relationships and take care of them through personalized gifts. That's how I do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I personally have never done that. I have been asked and I've respectfully declined. Um, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I would do your research first though. For example, when I first started out shooting weddings, I was working for an associate company, and the owner of the company did pay to be on one of those vendor lists, but it was very successful for us. I mean, from paying, we booked probably as a company, we probably booked like 30 weddings a year at that venue. So in that case, it ended up working out. But I only caution that if you are going to pay to be on a vendor list, there is some sort of hard agreement that says we will refer so many weddings to you each year, or we guarantee you so many weddings each year.
Yeah, you got to be really careful with stuff like
Yeah,
that for sure.
Exactly. Make sure everything's in writing and that you're very careful. So,
all right. Awesome. I think we covered that one there.
Definitely. I could talk about that a lot more. And that's something I do plan on talking about a lot more in my workshop. But yeah, I think we covered a very good amount of stuff on that for sure. So number 5 is kind of open to interpretation a little bit, but I think it's important because it's something I do. And that's simply just being different. You know, by being the oddball out is a good thing. And what I mean by that is you don't want your work to look like everyone else's in the area. You know, you want to be able to stand out. So when someone looks at your portfolio, it's memorable. And that goes beyond your portfolio too. That goes about how you're presenting content to clients, what your website looks like, what the design and layout are saying. So a very good question I like to ask people is, I ask them, who is your target client? Like, who is your goal? Like, who's your target client? And if your answer is someone getting married, that is wrong. That is not the answer that you should be saying. And what I mean by that is you want to narrow down your audience and you want to try to find a niche. Because if you can find a niche, you're going to resonate a lot better with potential clients. And if you can find your ideal client, there's a very good chance they're going to be able to book you, or they're going to want to book you. So for example, my ideal client is someone that loves being outdoors, that loves mountains, that loves hiking, that just really wants to spend all their time immersed in nature. And I portray, my wife and I, we portray that in our photos with, incorporating the landscape, into our shots. So it's kind of the whole concept of little people, big scene, essentially, where, yeah, obviously it's a bride and groom, or bride and bride, or groom and groom, a couple, getting married. It's a nice portrait of them. However, there's also a bunch of mountains there too. It's showing off the scenery. So by being a little bit different and having a style that's just not so cookie cutter, it really helps separate ourselves from the competition. And it's essentially just a strategy that helps us book, more clients.
Melissa said people who pay money. No, Melissa, no. that is not what we want to do.
That's bad. Not trying to rag on you or anything, but one thing we've actually learned through our experience is actually it's the lower budget, the lower paying clients that actually cause more issues.
100%.
Yes. So one thing we've noticed is by being a luxury brand, people get to this point where they're paying so much money, or at least in our eyes, a lot of money. It's almost like they have this, they just expect that because they're paying so much that we know what we're doing, we're professionals, we're going to take care of it all. But then on the other hand, you get the lower budget clients who have the mentality, well, I'm paying money, so I should I should want I want to micromanage and I want to have everything the way I want it. Like I'm paying you for a service,
They're basically going to Karen you all day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I know some very nice Karens, so no offense to any Karens out there, but
Yeah.
but anyway, essentially what I'm trying to say is you really want to find a client that vibe well with you. When you're selling to a client, the very last thing you should be doing to them is actually selling your photography. You should be selling them on yourself. So really have like meaning when you get that consult, really have meaningful conversations with your clients. And again, that goes back to trying to build a relationship with them. I start every conversation out with, so tell me about yourselves. What do you guys like to do for fun? And if they say, for example, I have a lot of hobbies, and this is actually something that really works out to my advantage, because if they say, oh, we're really into, we're really into our dogs. Oh, that's awesome. What kind of dogs do you have? I have two myself. And then we start talking, and we start spending the next 5 minutes talking about dogs, and then, okay, what else do you guys like to do? Oh, we're really into fly fishing. What? I'm into fly fishing. Like, what's your favorite kind of fish that you like to target for? Do you prefer fishing streamers or dry flies? And then another 10 minutes talking about fly fishing. And then by the time we're really into the conversation, we've spent 20 minutes just talking about just personal stuff. And that gets them to like us as a person. And then, okay, well, now I guess we should start talking about the photography and talking about your budget and everything. And it's a little bit more comfortable to kind of jump into that after you've built that connection with them.
Yeah, it
So
helps break down that wall that,
right.
because to them, like we are a stranger, and the only thing they have to go off of is what they've seen on social media, what they see on our website. And so that's a great way to kind of break down that initial wall and get them to be like, okay, like I could see this guy potentially as like a friend or someone I would want to hang out with. And that allows them to kind of open up a little bit more about things. So that's absolutely huge.
Definitely.
I would say the other thing I think a lot of photographers miss on is they think that their images will speak for themselves. And your actual copy is also huge for how you come across online. So it was a few bookings ago, this girl reached out to me, and ironically on the Facebook page Messenger of all places. I was just like, okay, this probably is not going to be a good lead, but whatever, I'll chat with her. She's like, I'm having like 75 people, it's at a barn and all this stuff. And I was just like, okay, cool. And she's like, but your website spoke to me. Like, it was exactly what I'm looking for, like to a T. Like, can I talk to you right now? I was like, oh, okay, like, sure. So we hopped on the phone. I started talking to her, and she's just like, I don't like even need to hear anything else. Like, this is what I've been looking for. It spoke to me. And I was just like, that's awesome. And it was a great fit. And we talked for like 2.5 hours. And then she goes, I want to book your top package. Like, I didn't even ask her. She just told me, she's like, I want whatever your top collection is. I don't even know what it is. I'm going to make it work because like this is the best fit I could ever imagine. And I was just like, how did you know? And she's just like, your copy, like it matched up with who you are, the images you produce. And she's like, everything just felt so cohesive, like that. It was exactly what I was looking for. So, images, of course, they do matter, but you also need to make sure that your messaging, that how you talk about yourself matches up with all of that. So when people go to meet you, they're just like, oh yeah, this is 100% the guy who I thought they would be. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm sure you've met someone where you're just like, that is not the person I imagined that they would be once you meet them in person. And you don't want that to happen to you with clients.
So like dating, basically. Like
yeah. You don't want to catfish your clients.
Right. Wow, you look a lot different from your Tinder profile picture. Yeah, definitely the same kind of concept. I wrote an article for CG Pro Prints a couple of years ago on how to have like a successful client meeting. And one of my topics, or one of the bullet points I said, is treat it almost like a date, with just except minus the trying to, like hook up with this person kind of thing. All that aside, but actually treat it like a date, like ask them the questions. Don't talk about yourself the whole time, try to build that genuine relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin said, we show up tattoo showing and all. This is us. We are human. And yeah, I
Yep.
mean, tattoos are exactly something that for some people, they will be turned off and polarized by that. And I know for some people, they might be offended by that. I say, honestly, that's a good thing because they're not your client then. Like, that's someone I would be avoiding then. I had a couple that actually left, they fired their original photographer because of a whole bunch of shady stuff they posted on social media about what they supported. Not going down that road, but like political
Yeah.
stuff and Black Lives Matter stuff, it got ugly. And they didn't
Right.
feel comfortable about that. And so they came to me and they were just like, we are tattooed, we are liberal, like we are this. And they were like, we can tell that like you respect people no matter who they are. And
Yeah.
we really appreciate that. And like you will let us show off our tattoos and like not hide them. And I was like, absolutely, like be yourself. And
Yeah.
so like try to show off, diverse couples and things that match your style in your portfolios.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good point for sure. I mean, and that kind of goes back to, just building those client relationships. Is if you can vibe well with people, they're going to want to refer you, not just because you're a great photographer, but they consider you a friend almost. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's what I tell everyone is the number one thing you always want to ask yourself. How does this serve others? How is this going to help other people before myself? And if you take care of other people will take care of you. I know sometimes it's a little hard to believe and it's hard to think about how to do that. But at the end of the day, if you are able to put others and take care of them first, in the end, I promise it will come back to you 100-fold.
Absolutely. So yeah, those are my 5 low budget strategies. Those are the main ones I use to book clients.
Awesome.
So hopefully that helps all of you tuning in live here on Facebook land.
Yeah, it looks like we had tons of comments about everything there. Some people being like, yep, totally clicked on that. And like, oh, I didn't think of that before. So that was awesome. And of course, if you're
Yeah.
watching the replay for this, like you can still comment back there. Sean will pop in or I'll pop in and try to reply back with what we're doing as well. So, we can keep
Yeah.
the conversation going too. If you guys have any other comments, feel free to get them in quick because we're going to kind of start wrapping things up here. But as we do that, then Sean has a workshop coming up in April. He kind of hinted to it a little bit. It's 3 days, 2 days of shooting and 1 day of business. So he is going to obviously do a much deeper dive into all of this stuff that we talked about today.
Yeah.
So I'll let him talk about that a little bit in case you're interested.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, we are doing a 3-day workshop, April 9th, 10th, and 11th in Estes Park, Colorado. For those who aren't familiar with Estes Park, it's basically the town that's right on the base of Rocky Mountain National Park. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a mountain town.
Insane. I went there for like 3 days and it was heaven.
Yeah, and it's great. And we're calling this our wedding photography boot camp because that's essentially exactly what it is. It's going to be a pretty intense workshop, but you're going to walk away with so much knowledge and inspiration, not only on how to be more creative as a photographer, specifically with off-camera flash, but how to actually build your business too. There's so many workshops that are like kind of one or the other. It's either the creative side or the business side. And we mesh both of those together so we can say, okay, here's how you can get creative. And then here's how you can apply all that creativity to your business to help sell yourself. So that's essentially what it is. It's 2 days of the creative. Day 1 is going to be more of a hand holding, like, hey, here's how you use off-camera flash. Okay, day 2, now that you know how to use off-camera flash, we're going to start doing some more advanced off-camera flash lighting techniques, and how to really get creative. And then day 3 is, okay, we're going to go a little bit over on how we process those images. And we're also going to talk about the back end of the business, how to book more clients, how to run your studio, how to basically not overwhelm yourself.
All right. And obviously workshops have all different levels. What would you say, what type of photographer should consider your workshop? Like, can beginners consider it? Can like really experienced pros consider it? Where would you say that is?
I would say anyone from intermediate to advanced photographers. So we don't want you to come into this workshop with us having to teach you what shutter and aperture and ISO are. We want you to have a pretty good understanding of how to use your camera and have some experience already with taking photos. So we want you to have kind of the skill set and the base, but even if you don't know anything about off-camera flash, that's fine, because we're going to be diving into that for sure. And if you are a beginner, that's totally fine. Just let me know that you are. That way I can give you a little bit of homework before you join the workshop and say, hey, I think you're going to benefit from learning A, B, and C before you come and join us.
Yeah, that's really huge, guys. As as some of you, if you're considering different educators or workshops, things like that, where it's going to be kind of a group setting, I would always make sure that whoever you're taking the workshop with kind of checks in on what level you're at before they're just willing to take your money. Because, for example, like if people want to do, off-camera flash stuff with me, I ask questions about where they're at currently and what they want to learn. Because if you are just starting off and you're like, hey, I want to get to all these crazy skills, well, I can't do that for you in 2 hours. That's going to take more than that. So, make sure that you're asking those questions and that the educator's communicating that with you to ensure that it is a good fit before you ever spend money with people.
Exactly. And, one thing I do want to mention as well is we are limiting it to only 10 photographers. So that way everyone can receive equal attention. It's not like a lecture style where it's just like 100 photographers and we kind of say, okay, everyone for themselves. We really want to be there to help hold your hand if needed, to help you really learn and to digest all the information we're going to be teaching you. And it is all inclusive, meaning we're going to feed you 3 meals a day. Actually, my father, who's a professional chef, he's going to be actually flying out to cook for us.
Wow. Okay. You're fancy.
Yeah. So it's going to be legit. It's not going to be like hot dogs and hamburgers. It's going to be good stuff. And obviously we'll cater the menu to any dietary restrictions, but if anyone wants to join, I'll post a link somewhere, and it's only $9.95 for the 3 days.
You're kidding, Sean, right?
No, I'm serious. It's only $9.95. So we want to really get people in here and experience the workshop.
Well, that is dirt freaking cheap for those of you who are not familiar with workshop prices. Normally that's what you can expect to pay for like a day and a half with most people. So to get 3 days is absolutely huge. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Sean. We'll drop the links into the comments later there. If any of you have any other thoughts, questions about something, drop them in the comments. Of course, I'll be here live every week with you guys, bringing you some other content. So let me know what you want to hear. And maybe we'll have Sean back in the future to talk about something.
I'd love to come back.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in here. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you guys around. All right. See ya.
Thank you.